This is the DJ3000. It plays CDs automatically, and it has 3 distinct varieties of inane chatter.
Hey, how about that weather out there? Whoa, that was the caller from hell. Well, hot dog, we have a wiener.
Man, that thing's great.
Don't praise the machine.
Looks like those clowns in Congress did it again. What a bunch of clowns.
How's he keep up with the news like that?
TBTL.
Are you all right?
No, I'm confused. Nothing makes sense to me anymore. This face, it's not my face. My whole world has disappeared, and now I'm talking to a car.
You know, you're overthinking it, buddy. Yeah. I mean, just kind of see this as a fun thing to do where you make a little bread.
You've got to remember that these are people of the land. The common clay of the New West. You know, morons.
Stop talking, get off the phone, and let's do this. Let's do this immediately. Let's go.
All right, hello, good morning, and welcome, everyone, to a Thursday edition of TBTL.
I just want to hug this show and never let it go.
The show that just might be too beautiful to live.
Oh my God, he admitted it.
My name is Luke Burbank. I am your host, coming to you once again from the Queen City, beautiful Denver, Colorado. Day 4 of TB Telethon 13. Let the fun begin.
Let the fun begin.
And boy, is it beautiful here in Denver today. It
oh,
is.
Ma, Pa, it's just beautiful.
Denver regularly shows up on sort of most livable cities in America, those lists, and getting out on the Cherry Creek Trail this morning and just kind of experiencing about 75 degrees at 8 a.m. with the river rushing by and all of the fine folks out there. It makes sense. It is as advertised. Denver, Colorado, a beautiful place. Of course, we're not just here to admire Denver, Colorado. We are here this week to raise some money for TBTL.
So, you got my money?
This is the one time a year where we take a week and we remind everyone, as if they need reminding, that the way this whole thing works is through listener donations. And so appreciate all the people who've donated so far and really appreciate the people who are going to donate today to get us on track. It's been a weird week, to say the least, and we're a little behind schedule on this. I have great confidence we will catch up, but if you go to tbtl.net right now and donate to the show, that would be amazing. We have all kinds of thank you gifts, Tonight Pants, and Mad Libs, or I should say Too Beautiful to Libs, and other things for you as a thank you for your support. So thanks again to everybody who's participating this week in TBTLthon 13. Now, Andrew and I had quite the adventure yesterday.
Oh, and the adventure begins again.
Trying to see if we could swap out his rental car that he inexplicably selected at the rental car location in Seattle. They said, "Young man, all of this could be yours." I assume the person at Enterprise just sort of spread their hands and showed an ocean of different vehicles. And Andrew went and found a Mitsubishi Mirage, which is on the smaller side for driving across the Rockies. We wanted to go trade it in. We went to the airport yesterday and immediately encountered a situation. Did we have to slightly prevaricate to accomplish our task? I'm not going to tell you. I don't want to spoil it.
You're good at lying.
But yes, we did. We had to lie. We had to lie through our friggin' teeth. So more on that coming up. Also, it's a Thursday. Whoa, what a dud bell. Is it the altitude? This bell performs very differently at sea level. It's a Thursday, a.k.a. Blur's Day.
It's my birthday today.
And we will celebrate the birthdays of the listeners today. And hi, everyone out there on YouTube watching us. Thank you. We had some technical times. Thanks for your patience. Here we are. We're going to take your phone calls. Again, the phone number is 206-414-TBTL.
Ahoy, ahoy.
206-414-8285 if you want to chat with us today. Thank you, everyone.
Welcome to the internet.
Saying hi by way of the internet, chatting it up, chopping it up on the YouTube page. Oh, and one other thing. I have a certain audio assistant that's going to be helping me today that I'm very excited to talk about with the listeners.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
It's something called a Yoigo talking hamster. And it is really something else. We'll get into it. I got to turn that off. That's going to be a major distraction. Actually, I don't know how to turn it off. It's learning. It's disabled its off button, Andrew. Oh, speaking of my friend Andrew Walsh, he's right over there.
Please welcome the wickedly talented,
longest-running Cobra of the show, maybe best known for his depictions of the tall ships. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. We need to talk about that hamster, but I had something that I've been sitting on for the past hour or so that I've been wanting to tell you. I need to give a little bit of background for the listeners. Because we are streaming these shows on YouTube, YouTube is very sensitive to copyright infringement. This is something that we learned last year.
The hard way.
Yeah, and certainly. Last year when we were streaming these shows, you were playing some music ahead of the shows just to we'd get the live stream going and just some just random bed music, old jazz or whatever. Yeah. And we got flagged on YouTube, all these copyright claims. Hey, you have a copyrighted song in your YouTube video. You need to handle that business or whatever. This time around, we've been being very careful. You've been trying to play rights-free music at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, if you've tuned into the live stream and you've been listening before we actually start the broadcast, you've heard some of the truly worst music ever created. Peace and love to the people that go out of their way to create copyright-free music on YouTube that you can use. But let's just say you get what you pays for.
Right. It's hold music.
It's, on its best. I would take that, that sort of famous hold music.
Loops.
That actually goes pretty hard. I would kill for the rights to that hold music. So anyway.
We did get flagged a couple of times this week. Flagged.
Wait. But
earlier this week, I'm saying you played some music that we thought was rights free.
It was literally a Spotify playlist that said royalty free, or no, it was public domain music. The playlist was called Public Domain Music, and it was a bunch of old songs, and I was like, well, this should fix the problem, and apparently it didn't.
Turns out it's probably made by some 14-year-old kid in Lakewood, Colorado, who made it. But anyway, so we're getting warnings from YouTube. They haven't shut us down or anything, but this was the real bummer. A couple of days ago, I think it was on Tuesday's broadcast, they said you can't use Words by Doves. Now, this is the song we've been ending TBTL with for over a decade now. Yeah. And so we've been getting around that by at the end of the show, maybe you'll notice that I sneak Words by Doves underneath us a little bit, but then I pull it down really quickly. We don't leave it in the clear very long. Today I woke up. I'm behind the 8 ball today. Maybe we can talk about that later. Maybe not. Kind of an interesting morning for me. But I'm every minute counted this morning, and I'm kind of racing around. I'm trying to create the YouTube page for today, and I see that we have another warning from YouTube, and I think to myself. And there was also something funky about me setting up today's YouTube feed, and I think it might be because we've been flagged so many times now, despite our best efforts to be on the right side of copyright law. But Luke, do you know, or would you like to venture a guess as to what, Luke Burbank, what do you think we were flagged for playing on yesterday's show?
Was it when I sang that Janet Jackson song so well that the computer thought that it was actually a Janet Jackson song? He's going to confiscate my gerbil.
No, you can't. No. I'm going to.
Don't break it.
I'm not going to. Is it turned on?
It's on. Do not break it.
Okay.
Do not break my gerbil.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you here.
You just took it. You straight up took it away.
No, I'm just trying to not have it repeat everything I say for a second, because I'm going to tell you, and the gerbil is going to tell you what we were flagged for. Okay, we're going to tag team this.
I think it's really annoying. I am searching my memory for anything we could have played yesterday that could have in any way run us afoul of YouTube's, kind of content moderators.
Are you ready for it?
I am ready for it.
Okay, let's be quiet for a second so the gerbil will shut up.
This is the part of the week where we get loopy. I don't know if you've ever checked into a TV Telethon before.
Denver, the last dinosaur. Okay, I'm turning off this thing now.
Got flagged
we
for
got flagged.
That's a theme song of a TV show.
From the 80s. We were playing the theme song. A listener,
I blame that listener,
Alicia, by the way, said, hey,
I
you guys
blame
need some silliness in your life. Play this song, Denver, the Last Dinosaur. It was stuck in my head all afternoon. I was John. By the way, John is here.
Hey, look, our friend John. Hey.
Call it friendo.
Hi, John.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Man. Boy, you left at the right time last night. you probably left. Like you probably left thinking, well, it's 1 a.m. These two guys are going to go to bed. You would have been wrong.
Yeah, I was very rested this morning. When I woke up.
Man, I will be rested when I wake up later. But we played this song, Denver, the Last Dinosaur, the theme song to this TV show. It was stuck in my head all afternoon. This morning I wake up and I had certain functionality turned off on my YouTube studio stream. And I think it's because we've been flagged once again and we have a copyright claim from TuneCore on behalf of World Events Productions for Denver, the Last Dinosaur.
This is what I don't understand. Is there someone trying to make money off of that song, and if we play it without having the proper rights, then they will be deprived of their, of sort of their due. I mean, and again, I respect content creators.
Yeah.
Not us. I don't respect the content we create. But as an idea, if you write a Denver the Dinosaur song, you wrote a song just as much as, Neil Diamond wrote, Sweet Caroline.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not trying to
song blue.
I'm not trying to Forever in Blue Jeans.
Forever in
This
Blue
is the part of the show
Jeans,
where we just name Neil Diamond songs. John, you got a Neil Diamond song?
Sweet Caroline was a karaoke hit of mine.
Yes.
But I don't have any others that I
As a
know.
Yankees fan, I'm surprised.
I know it was beers were involved.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm not trying to draw a distinction between the kinds of music that gets created, but I don't understand what the copywriting of a cartoon theme song is. If it's a song by Prince, the idea is if we play it on the show and someone hears it, they don't have to go buy that song from the estate of Prince Rogers Nelson. But this is who's being deprived of a potential source of income if we play Denver the Dinosaur.
Weirdly, did you know, and it's funny that you used
that as an example,
it was written by Prince.
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yes.
No, here's the thing. I would like to joke around about this, and in a certain way, it's like, hey, listen, we played an innocent, clip of a 80s TV theme song. But on the other hand, if I think about it enough, I think, we took food off the plate of the last dinosaur. You know what I mean? And
World TuneCore limited liability incorporated in Grenada.
So,
I'm sure that sounds like. Can you read again who flagged us?
The copyright owners are TuneCore on behalf of World Events Production. World Events.
Yes, that sounds like a mom and pop operation.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds like a real artisanal, hand-forged
I can't
cartoon
believe it.
theme song company.
I'm not even joking. When I decided to play that on the show yesterday and we played it so much in the clear, I thought, I had the thought, we can play this. You know what I mean? This is just ridiculousness. But no, YouTube is very... So I guess what we should maybe just appreciate is when we go back to not streaming these things live on YouTube next week, at least Spotify isn't pulling us for stuff like that. You know what I mean?
It takes YouTube's extremely anal retentive tendencies to make us appreciate Spotify's very kind of particular thing. Okay, listen, Andrew, the last thing that I would want to do is put you on blast, but you sort of mentioned about being a little behind the eight ball this morning, and I do think it's interesting because I had a sort of an experience this morning that I don't know if I've ever had from this exact perspective, which is, we had a really fun night last night. We were all tired. I think the three of us, we were all pretty gassed, and we decided to go get a little dinner around the corner from here. And then we thought, you know what? Let's have one little nightcap. Let's walk a block or two to a bar here in the Rhino district. Again, I hate the way that word has been co-opted to mean something else. And then we walked.
It was a restaurant in name only.
That's right. Hey, that's pretty good. You're in a flow state this morning, and I've been there. I know the feeling of sometimes the best shows I've turned in are the ones where I'm the least lucid. But so we were like, let's walk somewhere and just maybe have one little drink to cap things off. But we had been at a restaurant that was a really nice place, like an awesome staff and good food. But it was sort of bougie. It was a place where beautiful people go to eat beautiful food. And we wanted to go somewhere that was a little bit more our speed. So you punched in basically, I believe you asked Gorgle, where's there a good dive bar around us? And the thing is, the term dive bar has been so
co-opted
to just mean any place that people under a certain age think of as being divey.
If they can wear jeans there.
Right. And if it has like wood paneling or something, it's divey. But to Google where is the good dive bar, well, now because of the way algorithms work and Yelp and things like that, it will take you to something that is is the word I'm looking for simulacral? No, I'm not even trying
to. ask the hamster.
Hey, Harvey. Is it simulacrum?
Sounds better coming from the gerbil.
It really does. The gerbil is a better host than I am.
It gets to this point where it's unlistenable. It
really
starts
does.
off cute and then it just goes into full.
Just to kind of close the loop on this, somebody, and I don't know if they're a TBTL listener. If they are, hello, or if they're a Livewire fan. But when I came out of the Holt Center in Eugene, Oregon, security stopped me, and I assumed it was because of something I'd done during the show, but they said, someone left something for you, and it was this, and I'm not even going to say gently used. It was very clearly had already lived an entire life, this talking hamster, and I looked it up yesterday on Amazon. It's called a Yoigo talking hamster. It retails for, I believe, about $16, and it is just some weird recording device that when you say something... Let's see, switch it on. As if people haven't heard it enough. When you say something, it just repeats it back to you in a really high voice. And I swear to God, Andrew, when I got this thing, I sat in the hotel room laughing my freaking ass off.
Oh.
It's programmed not to swear.
It doesn't swear.
It's
can we develop a relationship where whenever you have to have a serious conversation with me or tell me something that I'm not ready to hear, you do it through the gerbil?
Hey, Andrew.
Uh-huh. Yes.
We really need to try to start these shows on time. So anyway, that's what this is. I'm sorry. I know that is the most annoying sound in the world, but I am personally obsessed with this. Thank you, whoever gave me this talking gerbil. Now, again, no part of me wants to put you on blast, Andrew, but what ended up happening last night was we went to what was the internet told us was a dive bar, and you know what? It was at some point.
Oh, at some point, it was a beautiful dive bar,
just absolutely beautiful. But now, what it was a place where people, and peace and love. If you're somebody who's in your mid-20s and you're listening to this or watching this, it's great. We love having you here. But it was just a bunch of people that were 20 years younger than us, or maybe 20 years younger than you and me. Not you, John.
I felt like they were 20 years younger than me.
they were very young. Yes.
And so anyway, it just wasn't our scene. And so we didn't even go in. It was also weird because we sort of got menaced by like 3 drunk 25-year-old women, one of whom said, "We're not here to be hit on," as we were walking
really?
by.
I didn't hear that part. I heard them say, keep walking, keep walking. I thought she was saying we're closed. I thought she was being obnoxious, saying don't hang out in our bar.
No, they were saying don't hit on us.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was specifically we're spoken for or something like that.
But what? I wish I had known that that's what they were saying. I misunderstood. I would have said my favorite comeback. What is this from? Don't flatter yourself, Angel. I believe that's from the 1989 Batman movie.
That would have
Jack
really...
Nicholson says, don't flatter yourself, Angel.
I did tell him this town needs an enema.
Don't flatter yourself. Grisham doesn't know about us. He's a tired old man. I won't do the whole movie.
I would have loved it if these 3 mid-20s women who were clearly pretty drunk and just kind of yelling random things at people walking on the sidewalk, which is how we arrived in their life, if they yelled the thing that one of them yelled, which was basically like, we're not here to be hit on, which was interesting because we did not come to hit on them. We were just walking down the sidewalk.
Trying to get away from them.
It would have been great, Andrew, if you just delivered like a 3-minute monologue from the Tim Burton Batman.
I just turn around and say, don't flatter yourself, Angel. Grisham doesn't know about us. He's a tired old man.
That would have been dope. That isn't what happened. What happened was the 3 of us, so we're walking up to this, what we thought was a dive bar that is clearly full of young people enjoying themselves, which is great, but it was not going to be our scene. As we get towards the door of the place we had already decided we weren't going to go, This one drunk young woman yells at us basically not to hit on her and her friends. And what did we do? We walked an entire block to get away from them. We were hiding from relative children. We literally went down the block and then called an Uber to try to. It was like, hey, Grandma, can you come pick me up from the rap battle? No, I didn't win it. No, he saw you dropping me off. No, he said some pretty hurtful things about it. We were a block away hiding from these children, just trying to get out of there.
Oh,
so,
man.
anyway, we ended up at a second location that we then had to Uber to. That place was fine. It was still
younger than I want. I wanted a quiet dive bar where you have a couple of old regulars. Yes. Maybe somebody gives you the stink eye when you walk in. But no, I love this neighborhood, but this neighborhood feels very young. There's like a lot of good places to eat and drink, but it's definitely for young people who have a little bit of scratch.
Yes. So, okay, so we go to this other place. It actually ends up fine. Andrew decides to enlighten them on some of the rarer B-52 classics via the jukebox, via the touch tunes.
You don't think they know the song "Give Me Back My Man"?
Everyone started dancing. It was amazing. A room full of 27-year-olds were just like, he did it. He played the perfect. Anyway, so it was a really fun night. And then we got back here. John, you departed for Uncle Chuck's, and which is a bar that you like to go to.
No, why did you invite us?
Speakeasy. That he didn't want to let us know about. Anyway, so all of this is to say, Andrew, you and I then got back here, and then we continued to kind of hang out and chat and all that. And it got later in the night than we realized. Okay, so we both go to bed. This morning, I went and did my little jog thing, and the door, when you open the door on this Airbnb, it makes a chime. And when I came back from my little jog, and also the room that you're in, Andrew, because this is sort of a loft space, the room that you're in doesn't actually have, it's like a Macklemore song, it doesn't have a ceiling.
It can't stop us.
No, it can't hold you. So you're in kind of you're in a room that's partitioned off, but that doesn't have a ceiling on it, so it's sort of open air.
Which, by the way, can you guys hear me snore? And when I say you guys, I took a very half-hour nap yesterday. John was working in the kitchen area, and I said I need to close my eyes for 30 seconds or for about 30 minutes. And I told John, "You're going to hear me snore." Did you?
Mild.
Okay.
I haven't heard you snore.
Okay.
Yet. But so I come back from this jog, and I open the door, and it chimes, and I just hear you go, "Oh shit!" we still had like an hour before the show. It wasn't like you woke up a minute before we were supposed to go on the air, but it's just like I don't think I have
a lot to do in that hour.
Yes,
though.
and that's
I
true.
should have prepped better yesterday if I knew we were going to go so hard last night.
I want to mention too that I've literally overslept entire episodes where my neighbor Rich had to come wake me up off the floor of my TV room. So I'm not on any kind of high horse, but it was interesting to be in the room with someone who is realizing in that moment that their alarm has not gone off.
Well, not only did my alarm not go off, my phone was entirely powered down. Now, I swear, because I set like a million alarms for myself usually,
right. Sure.
5:30, 6:30, whatever. I didn't go back all the way to 5:30, but I swear that I had an early morning alarm this morning that I snoozed, but responsibly snoozed, I feel like.
Ooh, that's a show title. Responsibly snoozed.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel like that happened. But then I heard you come in, because every day this week, it's been nice. I've been hearing you leave for your jog, and that's woken me up.
Yeah.
It's been good because I'm like, oh, I got stuff to do. I'll get up early. And so hearing you leave gets me motivated. I completely slept through hearing you leave. I did not hear that. I swear I snoozed my alarm once, but then I hear you come back, and I look at my phone, and it's powered down. It's a brick. Now, not only am I thinking right now, oh no, I've overslept. I only have an hour to get everything done before we go live. But I'm also thinking, is my phone jacked? Because
it's how we do the broadcast on YouTube.
That was exactly. I mean, so it wasn't just
maybe that's what the oh shit was.
It was it was just a combination of a lot of stuff at once. I woke up. We didn't go to bed until I don't think we said goodbye until or goodbye to each other.
We didn't do our goodnight kiss until I think 4 a.m.
No, who tucks who in though?
2:30 maybe.
I tuck Andrew in.
We finally tucked it in.
Best case
2:33. So
2:30 for 3.
We weren't going to get a lot of sleep last night anyway. But so I'm waking up feeling very bedraggled. My voice was as rough as I've heard it in a very long time. I think it's finally warmed up.
It sounds fine. I mean, at least you weren't where I was when we were pitching on NPR once.
Oh my gosh!
and it was a Saturday morning, and literally jogged to 480 Cedar Street, and then like this is our friend Amy Wu had like literally brought us to Minnesota to sort of help raise money for the station, and the whole sort of crux point was like maybe it was during This American Life or something on a Saturday. It was like these guys are going to knock it out of the park, and it's literally like, I am Luke Burbank. I'd like to tell you about it. It was like a disaster. You don't sound anything like that.
I'm feeling better now, but this morning I woke up, my phone was completely dead. I had no voice, and I didn't have enough time to do everything I needed to get this broadcast going today. But here we are. We got off to a slightly late start, and that's the thing. We got off to a late start a couple of days ago, too, because we had some meltdowns, technologically speaking. Today, thank God everything was working as it did, and we didn't really have too many things to troubleshoot, because if so, I don't know what would have happened. We weren't dealing with any margins, and I am a little embarrassed about that.
You should not be embarrassed, Andrew, at all. And the other thing, too, is what it points out is the number of different things that you are personally responsible for getting together before we even get on the air or get the thing going. You've got to like write some YouTube, like HTML code so that when people go to tbtl.net and click on the thing, they're watching us. You're doing a ton of behind the scenes stuff. You're putting the intro package together. Today you're collecting up the Dazzling donor messages. You're getting the Blurs days together. You're just doing a lot of stuff before the show. So I appreciate you doing all that stuff.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, it's not, thank you. I mean, I am a hero in a lot of ways,
yes.
And I do wear a cape
yes.
in a lot of places. I appreciate you saying that, and everything seems okay. But you know what it's like when like I'm still kind of waking up right now. And like you said, I'm a bit like kind of in a dream state. I mean, what last night was supposed to be the night where we just laid low, and I was going to do laundry last night.
And we were your laundry's done, by the way. That's the good news.
Yeah, but
it's dry.
Did you?
Yeah, I put it in the dryer.
You moved my laundry over?
Yeah, is that all right?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Did you see my nightie?
No, but I did touch your underwear. I thought this last night. Like I was like, let me just throw this in the dryer.
Doing that.
Sure, man. I was like, let me throw this in the dryer for him. But then as I was doing, I was like, I'm touching Andrew's underwear. This is not something I'm comfortable with. Okay, so two orders of business, my friend. Could you activate the TBTL phone situation?
I think. Oh yeah, the phone situation is activated.
Okay,
do you want to bring? We have a caller waiting to talk with us. He's been on hold for 15 minutes.
All right, let's do it.
You want to just do it now?
Let's just yes, and then we'll thank the Dazzling donors as well.
Okay, it looks like this is Steve.
Ahoy, hoy!
This is Steve calling from the East Coast, right, Steve?
Hello, welcome to the show.
Hey.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve in Alexandria. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, man?
Not too much. Just enjoying the live listen here, and I didn't mind being on hold for 15 minutes.
So you can hear, let me ask you a technical question. You can hear us when you're on hold?
I assume what happens, and Andrew can correct me, that once he decides to pick up the line, he like picks it up and keeps it on hold.
Right.
But I can hear what you guys are saying.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, good. So you know that Andrew overslept is the important thing.
I do, yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, I do.
I want that on the record.
Now, Steve, I knew it was you because I have your information already saved into our Google contacts list. I have you as Clubhouse Steve. Now, that sounds fun as hell.
Now, wait, is that audio? Is that that like audio hangout thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was hosting those like meetups for a while, about a year ago, and it was fun for a while. But then the app kind of fell a little bit out of fashion. I tried to do another one the other night, and it was just the core Washingtons here, me, Jen, and Ryan, and plus listener Jamie jumped on. But maybe we'll do some more. It's fun when you get a good group of people together.
Well, do you want us to promote it? I mean, if you want, do you want us to like try to give it that TBTL bump, get up to 7 people participating in it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there is a TBTL club on Clubhouse, and if you go there and like request, I will add you. I promise that. And then I don't know when the next time we'll actually do a call is. Maybe this evening, or maybe I don't know. It's hard to like commit to a time at the moment, but I should do more because it is fun. Yeah,
and so I remember when that first came around. Is it you're talking into your phone basically, right? And is that the technology? Does it sound like everyone's on a phone line, or does it sound like everyone's on FaceTime? Is it video, or is it just audio?
It's just audio. It's more like FaceTime than phone, right? And people's audio quality varies depending on their setups. And then there's this kind of weird quirk is that it sounds better if you're just a listener than if you're a speaker because of the way like phones work. But you can all be speaking at the same time, and there's like very social aspects to it, but there's also some rooms that are a little bit more organized where it's more like a radio show with a listening audience. But every time we've done it with a TBTL audience, it's just like whoever wants to talk talks, and we all kind of talk. I had my like computer set up for a while with like sound effects, and I could like play the TBTL music and sound drops. And
Whoa, that's cool.
And that was kind of fun because we were like, playing each other's favorite.
What drops were you playing? Do you remember?
Oh, God. Well, it ends up being a lot of like random stuff from you guys because the bulk of the Marsupial Gurgle catalog is just the stuff that I think Lynn finds funny. And so,
so it's us basically saying unintentionally erotic things.
Yeah, a lot of stuff like that. And a lot of times when you try to find a drop, so I was the guy on the call on the game night 2 nights ago with Carol Hold My Calls, and so I was trying to find that.
Oh, you acted out Carol Hold My Calls for the game night. Right.
Yeah. I tried to send that to my wife, and I was looking at Marsupial Gurgle, but all I found for the first bit is like all the times that you guys have said Carol Hold My Call.
Right. Well, that's the only thing that we have given Lynn the rights to. Not the actual drops. Us saying the drops, so that's copyright free.
Otherwise, we get pulled down by World Events.
Yeah, exactly. TuneCore.
Yeah.
Limited liability.
I totally remember Denver the Last Dinosaur. By the way, I knew that's what you were going to play when you teased it. Yesterday.
Really?
I won't sing it so you don't get taken down again.
How old are you, Steve?
I am 38.
Okay, cool. So I didn't know it, but it would have been probably around, like, I'm the generation or I'm the age where I should have known that, but you're significantly younger than me, but you still knew Denver the Last Dinosaur.
It just comes down to what was playing in your local market. Where did you grow up, Steve?
That was in Dallas, Texas at the time.
Because they didn't play
Denver the Dinosaur down there, I guess.
Yeah, right. Denver the Dinosaur was not playing in the Seattle area when I was growing up, which is why it was a blind spot for me.
It was also an age where there was a glut of cartoons. I feel like there was just a lot of cartoons.
Yes.
And so, everyone watched different stuff because it was, we were in the golden age of cartoons at that time.
I'm about to say something that I already know I'm going to regret. But I feel like when I was a kid, the cartoons seemed pretty awesome, whether it was DuckTales and maybe those awesome cartoons still exist and I just don't see them. But when I see like Paw Patrol or the things that are now being created for young people to watch, it just looks like wet shit. Like and again, maybe there's really great stuff that I'm just unaware of.
Well, you got the people under the water, like the SpongeBob people. Those seem like
that's great,
popular.
But I almost think of SpongeBob as being so creative that it's, adults can watch it and enjoy it as well. I guess I just mean when the things that we were watching to entertain ourselves when I was in 4th grade, I mean, Heathcliff, like I said, DuckTales, Silverhawks.
Did you ever watch Cops, C.O.P.S.
No, but I was aware of it.
That was kind of gritty for a cartoon.
Right. It was not like the show, not Bad Boys, what you're going to do, but it was an animated show. I don't know. I'm not even saying those shows were the best, but they just, I don't know, there just seemed to be a certain amount of care and creativity that went into them. And now when I talk to my friends who have kids and it's like, what do your kids watch? And it's like Paw Patrol. It's like something that just, for some reason seems like it doesn't have as much, and maybe it's also an age thing. I was 11 when I was watching Silverhawks. So maybe the 11-year-olds of the world are watching something interesting. But it seems like a lot of the shows now, I just can't imagine at any point in my childhood enjoying a show like Paw Patrol.
Steve, do you have kids? Can you speak to this?
I do not have kids, but I can speak to, I think that budgets were much higher for cartoons back then. And also they were like being hand drawn, and it's much easier to phone it in with computer animation than it is like when you're like having to like hand draw stuff. I think it's just the market was less fragmented. It was like a traditional network system, and so there's just a lot more money to make higher quality stuff. Now they just need to churn it out so these kids don't just start watching YouTube.
Right. It's like this. There's some guy named like Blimpy or something, or there's a guy who wears a hat.
So far, I like it.
He's called like Blimpy or something. It's very popular with babies.
Okay. Yeah. No, I haven't heard of Blimpy at all.
And I might be wrong on it's something close to Blimpy.
But he definitely wears a hat.
He wears a hat is the thing that I remember. But he's like, he has on these silly glasses. And again, I understand, like, if you're a very young child, you're just interested in bright, shiny things and voices that seem non-threatening. Like, that all makes sense. But I think you're right, Steve. I think there was so much more money and it was so much less fragmented that the system created these kind of higher production value things. And now it's like you could just be this guy Blimpy in front of a green screen on YouTube and get 8 million subscribers and like that's a thing now. And it's fine. It's just media is evolving, but I'm just glad I didn't have to grow up on Paw Patrol and Blimpy.
Oh, gummy bears.
Will you say that it's disposable media?
You don't have the right
unless
to
you want a
say
lawsuit
that.
on your hands, Steve. You better not.
Sorry. Keep Danny away from me. I don't need it. I don't need any cease and desist from her.
Steve, in all seriousness, those clubhouses that you set up.
Blippy. He's called Blippy. Look,
Blippy. Okay.
Look at this guy.
Don't play that. We'll get pulled in a second.
Is he related to Clippy?
He actually is Clippy. That's the look. He has a hat on. Andrew, am I crazy?
Oh, I am offended by that still shot. I will be honest with you. I hate that person, and I don't even know them. And I'm sure that
his
person
name is
a
Blippy,
good
and I'm
person,
sure most of our listeners, their kids, friggin' love him. But he wears like a silly hat and glass. I mean, it's programming aimed at young children, so it's not fair for me to criticize it from the perspective of a hungover adult. But it just doesn't seem as good as the stuff we were watching when we were kids.
I heard the very last episode of Blippy. He's like sitting in a cafe with his family, and some gangsters walk in, and then it just cuts to black.
Journey is playing on the jukebox. The B-52s are playing on the jukebox. Andrew's in the background. He's touch-tuned the B-52s into the cafe.
I walk into the cafe.
What's that, Steve?
And then Blippy wakes up next to Bob Newhart.
Yes, inside a snow globe,
Right.
I believe, right?
Yeah.
Let's bring it all back.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, hey, thanks for calling in today. Is there anything specific that you needed to say before we cut you loose?
So, yeah, the one thing I wanted to say is when on the game night, we were talking about how I was on that party bus with you, and I took credit for getting Livewire on
in South Carolina
Public Radio.
Yeah.
I just feel like I need to return the favor to TBTL and do my hard pitch that says, listeners out there, tens, if you're not donating now, I want you to think in your hearts of how much joy these guys give you every day. And think about donating if you can. And if you're already donating, think about bumping your donation. I became a Dazzling donor for the first time this year, and
thanks,
you
Steve.
can do it too if you can. So that's my hard public radio pitch for you guys.
Thank you for doing that. That's actually very helpful.
Really
It takes the pressure off of us to say that exact thing. So thanks for saying that, man, and thanks for donating, and thanks for just like being part of the TBTL family
and for creating those clubhouses too, man. I only joined you guys for one of those, but if you do another one, I'll really make an effort to join you again. That was really good, and it was great to be able to just kind of like chill and chat with everybody. So thanks for doing that. That's kind of
no problem.
Those community building events are amazing.
What I'll do with this is if you're on the Slack, that's where I'm not on Facebook. I'm going to try to do one more this week, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, but I will post on the Slack when I'm doing it. But if you download the Clubhouse app and search for TBTL, you'll find the club. And if you say like, I want to be a member, I will add you to that. And yeah, maybe we can do another one of those this week during the thon.
Sweet. Hey, thanks, Steve.
Thanks,
we really
man.
appreciate you, man.
Cool.
I
Thanks,
know.
guys.
That's a great segue, Maestro.
Yeah.
Into the thing that I want to talk about next, which is our dazzling donors today.
We was hoping for some razzle-dazzle.
Razzle-dazzle.
That's right, man, razzle-dazzle.
On your mark.
On your mark.
Get set.
Get set.
Now ready.
Ready. Go.
Everybody rattle, dazzle.
We're going to thank some folks who have been dazzling us with their donation of dough over the course of the last year. Of course, I mean, Steve made the point. I started the show by saying it. This is the TBTL-thon week, TBTL-thon 13. Let the fun begin. And it has been a hell of a week. And rightfully so, the focus has moved off of this show a little bit, as it should be. But it also means that we're kind of, let's just say, if the money we were raising, we're supposed to wake up at 7 a.m. It woke up at more like 9 a.m. today.
You know, the money is starting to think about taking a nap on this couch right now.
That's right.
By the way, would that be okay if I just
So
take a nap?
we're running a little behind, and I guess the point of mentioning that is if you are someone who kind of has it in the back of your mind, I'm going to do that on Friday, or I've been meaning to, and you're just busy. Everybody is very busy. If you could just take a moment today to go ahead and go to tbtl.net and sign up to make a donation each month at whatever amount works for you. It doesn't have to be the dazzling donor level. If you can do that, that would be awesome. Again, just think of us as the gym you subscribe to that you don't go to, that you forgot you're still paying $50 a month to.
That's right.
We're happy to provide that service in your life.
And not to be a broken record, as my mom used to accuse me of doing. Boy, that was cruel now that I think of it, but I'll work out my mommy issues later. But
Ooh, I like this version of you, Andrew. We're getting down to the real.
So out of my gourd right now. And we have a game night to do tonight as well. Imagine how loopy I will be by
the way, possible Bubbles sighting on the game night tonight.
Oh, Bubbles your kitten.
Bubbles the kitten. Becca the girlfriend and Bubbles the kitten,
Nice.
I believe, are going to be checking in. And I'm sure that what will happen is she'll try to hold the cat up to the camera. It will claw her to shreds and then run away.
I wonder, we just got 7,000 people rushing to sign up for the
That's already
game
a pretty.
night because of
I
that.
think there's already a healthy number of people signed up, right, John?
Yeah, I'd say if you want to join in, do it now because it's getting close to capacity.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, wow. So we should thank the Dazzling Donor, but I just want to say, like, in addition to what you were saying, Luke, about donating, we have a great community of people who have been supporting the show for a long time now, and generously, and have been upping their donations and doing all kinds of things that every time I think about it, I'm almost overwhelmed by the generosity. And there are people listening who've been listening to the show for quite some time, whether it's 2 years or 12 years, who haven't been in a position to give maybe in the past, but maybe are now. And maybe you've just kind of gotten into the habit of listening to these TBTL-a-thons and not donating because you don't have to. And I'm with you, man. I've been there. I've listened to shows and been like, well, I don't have to donate.
Maybe you're BitTorrenting us right now.
Right. Then suddenly I realized they were
Pirate
talking
Bay.
to me. Right.
Maybe you're going on the Pirate Bay to get this show.
Maybe you got this from Kaza Light or even Kaza Heavy. But, just maybe if you're somebody who's never given before, maybe just take a moment and think about that and say, and think, hey, maybe this is the time to do that, even if it's at a lower level. Like, no matter what level you give, by the way, you'll receive a link to an audio track that Luke and me and my partner Genevieve did watching The Princess Bride and loving on that movie and talking about that movie. And that no matter what level you give at, you'll at least get that as a thank you gift. So maybe think about that.
We've also got this book of Mad Libs that are all TBTL related.
That we're personally writing.
Too Beautiful to Lib. So it'll be like all the fun of Mad Libs and all the fun of TBTL inside information and stories. We've also got these Tonight Pants, which are actually really quite something. They are comfortable. They are well made. They have a cool tag inside that says TBTL. They've got pockets.
If you leave them in the washing machine, Luke will transfer them to
I
the
will
dryer
come to your house.
you.
I will come to your house, and I will get to your drying machine. And these things are incredible. John, good job on this. Our friend John and our colleague Emily worked really hard to make this happen. And you keep pointing this out, John, that there was within the American public media universe, there was another version of this that was I believe it's the Make Me Smart podcast, right?
That's correct.
Kai Ryssdal. Pause for angry. Pause for cartoon angry things to come off my head as I mentioned my nemesis. No, Kai Ryssdal.
This Kai.
Kai Ryssdal and Molly Wood do this great podcast. Anyway, they would say that things were banana pants sometimes when something was particularly galling to them, and so then they made banana pants. And the thing is, I have so little in this world that I can point to that makes me better than Kai Ryssdal. In fact, I have nothing that I can point to. But if we could move more Tonight Pants than they moved banana pants, it would emotionally get me out of a couple of jams. That's what I'm trying to say.
The gauntlet has been thrown.
Exactly. So anyway, if you can go to tbtl.net and take a look at the various levels that you can help us out at, and also the things that we would love to send you as a thanks, we would really, really appreciate that. Be cool like Keith Stone in Libertyville, Illinois.
Indeed.
We put these pronouncers, a place where someone can help with the pronunciation of their name, and Keith says, my first name rhymes with teeth.
Yeah, that's helpful. Well, it actually just says rhymes with teeth. What if he's talking about his last name? What if it's Keith Steeth?
Keith Steeth. We'd like to thank Keith Steeth in Libertyville, Illinois. Keith says, I want to give a brief update on Stonecraft Leather. Give me a follow on the gram if you're interested. He said Instagram, but I was trying to
you're a little
make
cooler,
it more.
you're a little hipper,
I want to make it more youthful. Last year, Jonna from @Sunshine Zoo Design created an awesome logo for me. I love it. Check her amazing workout on Instagram. Another TBTL 10 reached out requesting a log tote. Oh, that's cool. So that'd be like a leather thing that Keith made that you can like carry some firewood in, presumably.
Yeah, I can picture that.
That's pretty dope. It was an absolute blast making it. Thanks, Heather. Doing leather work and joining the leather craft community has been really fun and rewarding. Recently, the community has raised over Is that $1,000?
That's $40,000 for the refugees from Ukraine.
Amazing. I wanted to use this opportunity to direct you to the hashtag Leather Crafters for Ukraine effort. One of the leather crafters from Poland, Łuka from Skalin Goods and Matt from Matter Supply Company have been instrumental in putting all the donations to good use.
Wow.
Łuka is on the ground in Poland and providing daily updates on what the donations are buying. Everything from food, hair dryers, plates, spring shoes for kids, and even hospital generators to help power pop-up hospitals. The group is selling $5 raffle tickets for some amazing leather goods, and all donations are going directly to Poland to buy goods for refugees. Thanks again for each of you for following me on the gram. Oh, he did say the gram.
Does he say the gram
He
there?
says the gram at the end.
Oh, wow.
Keith, can we get some consistency, please, in this message? And for liking my little leather projects. I try to follow everyone back, and I really enjoy seeing the variety of accounts. Power out. Keith, thank you, my friend, for donating to the show, and thanks for being such a long-standing and long-suffering 10.
Yeah. And I just have one question for you. Do you have anything that says Daddy loves leather?
Get set.
Get set.
Now ready.
Hold my stones.
Everybody ready.
We've also got to thank Nicole Oswell of Temecula, California.
Temecula, one of the more fun names to say.
So fun to say. Temecula.
Temecula.
I believe there's some good wine out there in Temecula. I believe that's they've got some vineyards. It's a very wine these days, a very wine-centric kind of part of the California landscape. Nicole says, I started listening to TBTL 10 years ago when I was pregnant with my first child. It quickly became a staple of my day, making me feel at home with friends and reminding me of my PNW roots. My son came 12 weeks early, and TBTL helped me get through many long days. This community is amazing, even for those of us that remain quiet in the background. It makes a difference. Another thing that helped me and my son is the organization Mother's Milk. If possible, please consider a donation to them. And not to worry, my son is almost 10 and wonderful with 2 younger siblings. You've been busy, Nicole. Even in our crazy busy lives, TBTL remains a daily staple thanks to the Cobros and also all of the 10s. I don't know what Mother's Milk does exactly, but
it makes making breast milk available to as many people as possible, it says.
What I do know is that we are dealing with a formula shortage in this country. And I don't know where this organization fits into that, but I would have to imagine it's helping in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, in fact, I'm quite sure this message came in long before this shortage, which is, I mean, wreaking havoc on families.
Yes.
I mean, you're seeing that too, Luke. I know it's and you and I are not in a position that's
also
affecting us. But like,
I was on a formula diet like 6 months ago. I'd read about it on Instagram.
Yeah, you're
all formula, but I have a window. I'm only allowed to have formula between 4 p.m. and 4:15 p.m.
I'm formula fasting.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, so I think this was sent in before that, but yeah, what a great organization. I'm on their website right now.
Absolutely. So thank you so much to both of our dazzling donors today. Thanks for keeping TBTL going. We really appreciate you.
Hello and welcome to Top Story.
All right, let's get down to brass tacks, Andrew. You and I yesterday hopped in the Mitsubishi Massage and headed for DIA, Denver International Airport, because we were hoping to trade in that pretty small vehicle that you had driven from Seattle all the way out here to Denver to try to get you something a little more substantial for both your safety, for crossing mountain passes, for a few more bells and whistles inside the vehicle.
Yeah, because I just want to reset this one more time. I'm not very familiar with the car rental process. I've done it. I think this might have been the second time in my life that I've actually been responsible for this. And so I rented it, using, our company resources through Enterprise. And all the paperwork went fine. And then when they said, okay, go ahead and pick your car, the kid at the rental agency gestured towards a couple of kind of mid-sized sedans I could take, because I bought a car, or I paid for a car that would be more of a mid-sized car, but we happened to be standing next to a little hatchback, and I'm more familiar with driving hatchbacks. I always drive around the city, so I always think, a small little car is good. The smaller the better for this, Andrew. And so I took this tiny little car, not really thinking about the fact that, oh, I'm going on a road trip. This needs to go through the mountains. And I didn't realize that just because this was a hatchback, I didn't make the assumption that it was going to be kind of a very cheaply made car, and it did not feel very good trying to get through the mountains on this thing. That was on me, but I was paying for something that should have been better for this.
So I think maybe Monday called Enterprise, and a weird moment happened because, of course, I was just doing this on your behalf, Andrew, but they were like, okay, rental agreement number, and I told them because you had sent it to me, and they're like, date of birth, and I muted myself, and I was like, Andrew, date of birth. And you told me, and then I repeated to them, and they said, okay, Andrew, and I felt it was an interesting experience to fully inhabit the character of Andrew Walsh on this Enterprise rental car.
Who would have thought 2 days later you'd be touching my underwear?
I mean, life comes at you fast, tell you what. So I called, and it was one of those kind of customer service situations that leaves one feeling less than fully satisfied, because I was very definitely talking to someone in a very far-flung place, not the United States, somebody who was kind of working off of a script and then just transferred me to, was having a hard time kind of understanding the nature of the problem, which was I just said, we've got this car, we need to bring it in and trade it for a different car. And what I had wanted to do was just call, this is my whole trick, call the actual physical location that you're trying to do a thing with.
Yes.
Because when you get routed on the 800 number, it's like, you're not really rarely going to get help that's very useful. So I had called an Enterprise location here in Denver and got a human, and they said, you know what, you got to go to the airport for that. So then I tried to find a phone number for the airport location. They didn't have a phone number. I ended up in like 1-800-HELL. But at some point, someone said, if you take the car to the airport, they'll just trade it for you there. So you and I yesterday drove to the airport, and
now, they did say, I'm sorry if I just warged out, but is it also important to say that they said usually we only do this if there's an issue with the vehicle?
Yeah, the last person I talked to on the 800 number said, well, you got to take it in there, and they'll probably trade it for you. Because, I was at that point, I said, look, this is a car that's just really not safe for driving these mountain passes in, et cetera. And the woman said, but there's not a mechanical issue. And I said, no, well, not really, but there's a satisfaction issue. She said, well, usually it's got to be a mechanical issue, but take it in, I'm sure they'll trade it, for you.
Yeah.
So you said to me as we were leaving, what do you think the chances are of this working out? And I was like, 100%.
Because yesterday we had like kind of a hole in our day a little bit in between live events. And I was like, should we go try to swap out this car? And the reason I asked you your confidence level on this, like, I feel like if I ever ask you your confidence level, you'll say 100%.
Yeah.
You're a confident
the answer
man.
is never not 100%.
And mine is like somewhere in the negatives. And that's
Between the two of us, it's 40% confidence. That's it averages out.
What's your confidence level that they'll bring you an English muffin that you ordered at the diner? Like -2. But anyway, I didn't want to waste our time. And it was the airport is a little ways out, and the traffic was really terrible. So that's why I asked you, like, I don't want to go through all this rigmarole if we end up just coming back in the same mirage, So that's why I asked you that, and you said, no, this is going to happen. Like, you didn't even bat an eyelash.
So we drove, because I really did think it was just going to be like no big deal. Because again, we were not at the time proposing that they take a rental car out of the system. We were proposing that they give that rental car to someone else, maybe who has rented the most economy model possible, and give us/you a car that's a little more substantial. I didn't think it was going to be a big thing.
Unless we told them it was malfunctioning, which was sort of the plan, because that does take it out. They're not going to give a malfunctioning car to somebody else.
So the plan as we rolled into, by the way, watching you, Andrew, I please hope I'm not trying to give you grief, but watching you drive over those spikes when you go into witnessing how much even though we were doing the right thing, we were going to where you return the rental car at the airport. They have those spikes. It's one way. The sign says entrance. There's no way it's going to damage the car, but it was like, there's that thing, I think they call it like habituation therapy. Like if somebody has a particular maybe phobia of something, they will, let's say somebody has an OCD around germs and cleanliness. What they'll do is they'll take that person, sometimes a therapist, and they'll have them put their hand on a toilet seat in a public restroom. The worst thing you could do, right? And they say, rate your anxiety from a 1 to 10, and the person's like, it's a 50. And then they just say, okay, stay in it, and they leave their hand on it. And what happens is your system cannot stay at a 50. And so after 5 minutes, they're like, rate your anxiety. And they're like, it's a 9. And then after 10 minutes, it's like, it's a 7. And it's actually a very useful therapeutic trick for helping people get over sort of things like that. I feel like you were in a habituation therapy experiment trying to drive over those spikes. I was watching you stress out, even though this was how the system works.
I lost 10 pounds in
sweat. Just shaking.
I hate those things so much, Luke.
I don't love them either. They are very terrifying. So anyway, get in there. And now the plan is, you and I are we're game planning this. The idea is that because I had been on the phone with the people, and because this is a little more in my kind of wheelhouse, basically lying. I'll do the talking.
Lying / schmoozing / just convincing, I would say,
So the whole thing was Luke's going to do all the talking. But of course, as we pull up, because you're driving, the person with the little scanner for the return immediately comes to your side of the car.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Our plan is already going sideways.
I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And so you had said in the car, don't downplay it, say something specific, or the plan was to say something specific. The reason, we can't take this car back to Seattle is because it's malfunctioning in some way, right?
The engine, I think that the plan was we were going to say the engine was making a weird noise.
Yes.
That was going to seem mechanical enough to force them to give us a new car.
Now, I really don't like lying. We'll get more into this later.
Yeah, you don't.
This is the heart of the story. But I, in the instance that I have to be maybe slightly less than honest, I don't like to start. I feel like you don't necessarily need to start with the biggest lie, right?
Sure.
Just warm up to it. See how much information that person needs, and then you can give them more of the details.
Totally.
But in my head, driving up, if they asked me, if I say this car, we're swapping out this car because this car is not working and I can't drive it back to Seattle, I assume the follow-up question would be, well, what's wrong with it? And here's what I had in the back of my head. It was struggling to go through the mountains. It was shaking. It was straining. And I think I had 1/3 thing.
It was like a dog shitting a peach pit.
Exactly. But I was going to say,
Bob Walsh.
I was definitely going to say shaking, making weird sounds, and it's unsafe to drive back. Yes.
And those were that was a very good plan.
That's what was in my head.
Totally.
They pull up, but then when I pull up and I roll down my window, the woman asked me,
she goes,
"What are you doing here?"
And the reason that it was important,
what are you doing here? I said, "What?
What do you do?" It was Chris Hansen from Dateline. It was very weird.
I was off my game immediately.
So the whole thing was, we needed to immediately establish with them that we're not checking the car in, we're not returning this car as much as we're swapping this car, and so we had to kind of before they just do the scan of the barcode and then the car goes into some other system in their computer, we had to make sure that that didn't happen, because as soon as that happens, maybe it's getting rented out somewhere.
Yeah, and I was focusing on that. She had the little scanner in her hand.
So you were
I didn't notice I reached my hand out the window and kind of gave one.
And you said, "Hey, we need to trade this car. There's a problem with it." She said, "What's the problem?" And you said, "Well, I came across the mountains in it, and it just isn't making it."
Actually, I don't think that's quite right.
What do you remember saying?
Because I remember, what I said is similar to that, but I thought that she was going to ask follow-up questions. Basically, she said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "I didn't touch her."
Why'd you bring that McDonald's? The specific order that you were corresponding regarding.
Terrible joke. I apologize. No, but she said, "Hey, how can I help you?" or whatever. And I said, "We're here to swap out this car because it's, we drove it through the mountains and it's not up for the task."
That's what you said. That's exactly what you said. It's not up for the task.
And I said, but I do think I said something like it's malfunctioning, or I said something.
You did not. You said it's not up for the task, but you didn't say it was malfunctioning, and this is what struck me. And I hear what you're saying as far as why start with lying if you don't have to.
I was ready for her to say, "Oh, what's wrong with it?"
Right, okay.
But instead, I said, "Yeah, we're driving it here. We're here to swap it out because we're on a road trip. We drove her through the mountains." And she was and I said, "It's not up for the task." And she immediately had this look on her face of kind of understanding sort of. And so I was ready for her to say, "What's wrong? What are the symptoms?" Right. And that's when I was going to get into the shaking and
that
whatever.
Makes sense.
But instead, she just said, "Okay, gotcha." And she just walked away.
Yeah,
and
went
so
to the hut.
I was and now this is where I think it's interesting because I said not up for the task or whatever. She walks away. In my head, I'm just that was as easy as it could possibly be. I thought she was going to ask the follow-up questions. I was ready to lay on some slight mistruth.
I didn't know that you had slight mistruths ready to go.
Yeah.
I thought that my read of the situation, which was wrong, was that when push came to shove, you couldn't bring yourself to actively lie. So you said it's not up to the task because you didn't want to lie. But I didn't realize that was just the beginning of, that was the opening salvo for you. I thought that and this is one of the many things I love about you, Andrew. You're a deeply ethical person, generally, other than the part where we lied later aggressively to them. But I mean, you're at your core, you're a very ethical person, and you really try to move through the world in a moral way. And you said something to me on the show about, it was about getting a second boost. And I said,
a booster shot.
Yeah. Well, I was like, what is unethical about me? I don't want to get COVID. I'm vaccinated. I'm boosted. There are these places at the airport and elsewhere where there are just like a tent set up with people like from the National Guard sitting there with vaccine that no one's using. How is it a harm if I were to go up there and say, I'm here for my booster shot and get a boost? And what you said was, well, if you have to lie, that tells you something, which is a very profound thing, actually. And I hadn't really thought of it that way.
But I will say that like there are instances where there are immoral or broken systems in place.
The Nazis come to your door and you're hiding Jews. You lie to them.
I'm not saying that if you
tell them, you know what, fascism it's not going to cut it. That's your opening lie, and then you have more lies ready to go.
Fascism not up for the task.
Fascism is not up for the task.
But anyway, so I just want to be clear about that. I'm not saying that there are moral lies. There are times to do it, and so that situation you had with the booster shot, I think, is actually gray areas. But I just said, that is one thing to think about. If you're going and lying right away, are you lying because the system is totally broken and this is the only way to do the right thing?
So, again, I had read the situation, I think, slightly inaccurately, which is I thought that like very moral Andrew had just like sort of broken through, and you were just like, you weren't really willing to fully lie to them. You were just going to say it's not up to the task. Now I know that you're ready to get into the rest of the story, but she just like went to the hut.
I couldn't believe it. I was just like, whoa, that worked.
So then we get out of the car and she comes back from the like, whatever rental car hut thingy. And she goes, I'm really sorry, but I just talked to my manager, and because of the holiday weekend and lack of inventory, we can't trade cars. Mm-hmm. And that was when I said, you don't understand. It was smoking.
Yeah, you went right to smoking.
I went right to smoking.
And that's the difference.
Right to full-on lying.
Because to me, I mean, I don't know. Like, I would have never gotten there. Like, my lie really was as much as like shaking, and because like going up the mountains, like it's not shaking right now, but yeah, it was struggling. I could have made a sense, and I was ready to make the argument that you later made too, which is like, we need to do this now because you don't want to call from me from the peak of Vale in 2 days where you're sending out somebody to rescue me, right? Like, so, but smoking, like that is such a huge lie because like, it's not smoking now. There's no evidence of smoking. Like, that just seemed like you just bit off. Like, we could not have been approaching this differently.
We really escalated
and
there.
Again, like, I want to make it clear that in this case, if I was there alone, I would have either walked away or driven away in the same car I came in. Or somehow they would have just confiscated the car and told me I'm hitchhiking back. Like, that's how bad. So I admit that, but I admit it.
He admitted.
But you went right to the car.
Oh my God. He admitted.
The car was smoking. I was like, that's when I decided I need to stop making eye contact with everybody involved because I can't.
It was amazing. You left your body at that point.
I was just like, I'm not, if we're going with that, I can't do that. I'm outside of my skill set here, so I don't want to make eye contact with anybody.
You should have seen it, John. It was remarkable. He literally astrally projected out of Denver, Colorado to some other place.
I didn't want to salt it. That was honestly what I was doing.
Can I ask you a quick question, Andrew? What's worst case scenario if they catch you in the lie, in your opinion? Like, they're not going to call the cops. Like, what do you think is going to happen in that situation?
I guess there's a couple of things. I didn't want to salt the deal. I really did want another car, but also, that's a really good question because I didn't think about this, and this is going to maybe be an embarrassing thing to say, but if I was on this mission by myself and I failed at this, I would live with that failure. I'm used to that. But if in a certain way, I would have been letting down Luke. It's my situation driving down the car, but I did not want to be leaving that rental car lot with Luke being like, "You salted the game, bud," and like that's how Luke talks to me off air. But you know,
usually I'm tearing up a racing form while I say that.
That would have been really embarrassing for me.
Right.
So that's
you
why
have no coffee because it's for closers only.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been really embarrassing, and I would have wasted Luke's time.
down.
You know, so and so I think that would have been it. Like if I was here by myself, I wouldn't have even tried to do this. I would have just been like, I'm an idiot. Next time I rent a car, I'm going to take this lesson with me. But you know, we're going through the process of taking an hour and a half out of our day to do this.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to ruin it, and I'm not a good liar. And I realized when Luke is saying this thing was smoking, I did not want her to look at me and ask any follow-up questions.
You're good at lying.
So I didn't try to project out of my body.
Right.
I just did not want anybody
It wasn't
to
a
look
selfish
me in the face.
move on your
No,
part.
It was me being like, this is not my skill set right now. I'll go back later and I'll set up the YouTube stream. Maybe a little bit late, but this is not the droid you're looking for.
Right. So then the signee guy was a little bit worried. So now I'm like, it was smoking, and then her affect changes a little bit because she's like, okay, if there's smoking involved.
Yeah.
Now maybe we have a situation. And she's sort of, but still she's been told by the manager, like she's not allowed to give us a different car. So so she said, who did you call? And I said, we called this 800 number. And she goes, we just don't have more cars. And I said, yeah, but this thing is not going to make it back over the mountain pass, which is a complete lie. It would have made it back over the mountain pass.
Can
I
get a
comfort.
clarification? This is now the manager,
Nope,
right?
not even. This
okay.
is with the first person we talked to. So she then realized, I said, could we talk to the manager? Which even saying those words is, in this day and age makes me feel like a person who's being a hassle. But she's like, sure. So she goes and gets the manager. She goes back into the kiosk hut, whatever, and she's in there for like 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a very long 4 minutes because now it's like, well, what are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
The manager now comes out, and I can tell as she's walking towards us that she's already kind of getting her sort of statement together. She probably deals with things like this all the time.
I've never seen a human being walk into a situation knowing that no is the answer. There was something.
You mean more so than this?
Yeah, exactly. Like this woman came out and her whole body was
everything
like,
said no.
Everything said, you guys are going to tell me a bunch of stuff and I am going to say no to you. Like she came out of that geared up to say, like, no matter what these guys say, the answer is no. That was her whole
100%.
physique.
She was she was really kind of spoiling for, and she wasn't rude, but you could just tell that she was going to give no quarter to what we were pitching. Mm-hmm. So she comes out and she says, I'm really sorry, but holiday weekend inventory, we just don't have any more cars. And I said, we called the 1-800 number. They told us to come here to trade the car. She goes, well, you didn't call us because we don't have a phone number. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, I know that. I mean, I didn't say that, but I was thinking, yeah, I know that because I tried to call you the other day. She goes, you were talking to someone in Seattle because your car was originally from Seattle. And I said, no, we were talking to someone in Uruguay. And she kind of laughed. She said, oh, even better.
Yeah.
And so then she's just looking at us.
That was actually maybe the turning point.
That might have helped. Yeah. That might have helped. So she sort of chuckled at that. And then, of course, I sort of doubled down on the lie. And I said, look, this thing was smoking. And I don't think it's going to make it back over the mountains. And it's going to be a worse situation.
I'm suddenly noticing the trees. I'm just kind of like,
a butterfly goes by and Andrew starts chasing it. And I was like, it's going to be worse for Enterprise because you're going to have to come get us in the mountains, or we can just get a different car now. And I can just see her doing the calculation. Mm-hmm. And this was still all very cordial. And as I told you later on the drive, I was doing the thing, I always think, you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar. So it's like, let's keep this nice for as long as we can before it goes to this is unacceptable. Mm-hmm. Because that would also be a thing, which is like your company told us to come here, which was a pretty substantial drive to trade this car, and now you're telling us it can't happen. That's unacceptable. We didn't go there. It was just, it was still on the positive. And
but you did your tone.
It did shift a little bit.
I was pretty soft, but like your tone pretty early on was like, I need to have an edge here. Like I believe I don't know if you said this exactly, but you had so you're telling me vibe to what you were saying. I called this number and your company told me this. Like you had that.
I guess I was doing that even more than I was realizing, but I was still trying to keep it. I didn't want it to be like going super negative, but you're right. I probably had an edge in my voice. So there's just this moment where she's saying we have no cars and I'm saying are you going to come get the car, from a mountain pass? And then she's just looking at us, and I can see the gears turning in her head. And then she just goes, Chris! And Chris is the dude who has the grease pencil that you write on the window of a rental car, this thing's broken. And Chris comes over and gives her the grease pencil. And that was when I leaned over to him. I was like, we're in.
Now I see Chris writing with the grease pencil on the car, and
he hands it to her because he doesn't even know the situation. He was just the person who had.
The one who wrote it?
She writes the date, and then she writes engine smoking.
Oh, I didn't even
on
see
the
what
window,
she wrote.
which was like that was like the heavens parted and like this came down. Like I was like, she's okay. This is now we are now getting a new car because she is buying the second big lie. This is the second biggest lie. There's a bigger one out there that's more pernicious. But she is living in this universe that we have created, which is that this car has got problems, which it really kind of doesn't.
Well, it's amazing. So we were talking earlier about this moment that you and I both perceived very differently. The moment where I said to this woman, it's not up for the task. And she kind of nodded and repeated what I said. Like she seemed very understanding. And I took that to be like, wow, this was super easy. And you took this to be like, what is this idiot doing?
No. I didn't think that, but I just didn't.
Like,
I at that moment I thought, it's not a sufficient situation to get us a new car.
Okay, right.
That was what my thought was.
Right, and you were right. But now here we are 10 minutes later, and the grease pencil is out, and there's writing going on in the window. And this is from my inexperience in rental car lots. But, like, I see that grease pencil, and I'm like, you're like, this is great. And
We're in.
And I'm like, this could be the darkest moment because they're clearly now taking this car away from us. We're not in this car anymore, but I still have not heard the words that here is your new car, sirs.
So your thought was we may have
I don't know what I'm thinking.
We may have deprived ourselves of this functional car that is just basically too small. And now if they really are out of cars, now we just have no car. We've gone from having one car that isn't great to no cars.
I was because we're in the rental car area of the airport, so I was legitimately, and again, wrongfully so. And I often, as you and I were talking about yesterday, I am always prepared for the worst case scenario, which is why I'm so cool. But I was ready for her to say, okay, you can't drive this car because it's smoking. We will give you your money back for the rest of this thing. I recommend checking out Alamo. I recommend, I was ready for, and then I was like, oh my God, we're going to be spending the rest of the day trying to find another car to rent on Memorial Day weekend. I hadn't really thought about the Memorial Day factor of this until they had mentioned it. So I was that was the darkest moment for me.
That's so interesting. The difference in experience of that is so fascinating because I was like, we have triumphed. We have gotten her to put this car out of commission, meaning they're going to now give us a new car, which ultimately they did, thankfully. Now, another thing, too, is that this manager was clearly pregnant.
Oh, I didn't know.
And, of course, saying something about someone's pregnancy when they're not pregnant is a mistake you make exactly once in your life. I've made it. I am still scarred from the awkwardness of that. But I also had in the back of my mind somewhere, this is also this could be a conversation softener. Hey, when do you do? Do you know it's a boy or girl? If I needed to sort of try to humanize myself to her, I was thinking about that. But I also thought, what if she's not? And I mean, that could also just absolutely salt the deal. So once...
Yeah, because I didn't notice that. Again, I'm trying not to make a lot of eye contact and stuff anyway, which is kind of my MO, I guess, anyway. But I didn't notice that,
So she grease pencils the car, and then she goes, give me a minute. And she starts walking back to the hut. And I said, we'll drive one of those rental buses if you want. And she goes, don't tempt me.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, we're 100% in now.
Yeah.
We're cool.
She's irritated with us.
She's laughing. Don't tempt me. We're good. We're good now.
This is the most I can picture you when you tell your stories in grade school, right? The teachers both kind of like you, but you're irritated. You've pushed them. You got your way. You know what I mean? This was Lil Luke Burbank 100%. That I saw here. Yeah.
100%. So then, she comes back and has I don't even think she actually gave us anything. She just said, so-and-so is going to help you from here. But she basically came back and pointed us in the direction where we should go for the car. And then and we said, thank you so much. We were very appreciative. And she said, no problem. We were, thank you for making this happen. And I said, something like, well, good luck with the baby. And she went, thank you so much. I only felt comfortable referencing that when I knew we had another car. It would be so hilarious if it'd be like out of a movie if she was ready to give us the next car. And I said something like, good luck with the baby. She goes, baby? And then she takes the keys back. Anyway, so the greatest thing is dude, you're getting a Kia. You got a Kia Soul, a boxy car that you love. You love boxy cars.
I love any car that has a hatchback.
You got a hatchback.
And she gestures over and says, so-and-so will take care of you. And I look over, and that to me was the clouds parting and a ray of sunshine shine down on this beautiful boxy
Kia
car
Soul.
that is probably like twice the size of my current car, which is what is necessary. So it's still relatively small. But you know what I mean? It's manageable for me. But it's not like I did not want anything that is even close to SUV levels or anything like that. I don't like driving big things. Like, I'm not used to it. I didn't want to be driving because we're still a couple more days in the city here. And I just see this car that I love. I don't know if I've really noticed a Kia Soul before. Clearly, I'm not a car guy.
There's something about the soul of a Kia.
It's true. And the other thing is, we have a hamster here sitting in with us today. Didn't hamsters sell these dang things?
Are you related to any of those hamsters in the commercial? Were you our guardian angel? Were you manifesting that Kia Soul for us at the Enterprise?
John can't do this show.
You gotta stop.
John, you gotta take over from here.
Anyway, the point is, we got Andrew a new whip.
Jalapeno!
And I know
Jalapeno!
some of you who are even more moral than Andrew will say, yeah, but like now they think that car is broken. And my theory is it's going to go. Yes, okay, we sort of got over on Enterprise. That is true. But what's going to happen is it'll go through the system. They'll pop the hood. They'll start it up. Probably the people that like work on these broken cars have probably seen this move before. Smoking, Turn it on. Look at the engine. Everything looks fine. They'll send it back out into service. I'm hoping that it's not a huge sort of time suck for them because yes, I mean, and if I'm being honest, for once, we were not being truthful about that, but we did get you a Kia Soul, and I think in the end, this falls into a gray area for me.
And you know how the story ends, right?
I wonder if you're kidding on the square with this because I think I know what you're about to say.
I've mentioned it to you a couple of times.
So I wonder if you really do feel karmically like this car will catch on fire when you're driving home because of the lie.
I think this car is going to be smoking when I drive it back. Like, I mean, I don't really think that's going to happen, but like, wouldn't that be something if you and I dial up for our show next week and I have to explain that I had to get towed out of the Rockies because the new car started smoking. That would be something.
And you don't believe in a Todd. Hey, let's do some Blurs Days. What do you say?
Okay, I think we should do that. Actually, before we do a Blurs Days, we have somebody who has been on hold for,
oh my God, if it's the lady from Enterprise.
38 minutes.
If it's the lady from Enterprise, everything we said was performance. None of that was true. It really was smoking.
I have the keys. You can't get them back. So I know that we do have to do Blurs Days, but Luke, 38 minutes is a long time to keep somebody on hold.
All right. Hello.
Ahoy, hoy.
Who are we talking with?
Hi,
here?
welcome to the show.
Hey guys, it's Craig Dodge from Denver.
Hey, Craig. Great job on the TBTL game night last night.
Yeah, and you don't believe in a Dodge.
Really special stuff. The way that you acted out that particular thing.
Well, thank you. Yes, it was great to be able to make my introduction to all of the 10s that were there by showing them just how much bald spot I have to cover to paint.
I wanted to mention, I was thinking of you this morning, Craig, because you're a runner. You were giving me some advice on trails, and I had said to you last night during the TBTL game night that I was going to go out to the canal. What's it called? The High Canal Trail?
The Highline. Highline Canal. Yeah.
And this morning when I got up and I looked on Waze, it was going to be 58 minutes to get there because of traffic from where we are.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't have 2 hours of drive time, not including the run. So I ended up doing the Cherry Creek Trail, which do you run on that one?
Oh, of course.
That is so beautiful. That might be one of my favorite runs I've done here.
Nice. Did you go by the 4 Mile House when you did that?
What's the 4 Mile House?
Oh, it's a place that's like just like 4 miles outside of downtown where they used to like rest their horses and that kind of thing.
I didn't get that far. I did an out and back. I did 5 miles, but you know what I did do? I this is new to me. This is a Denver thing. I was running on a side of the river that's only for bikes.
Oh.
Oh yeah, yeah.
One side is
trails.
One side is pedestrians and no bikes, and the other side is bikes and no pedestrians. And I got on the wrong one, and I'm jogging, and these bikes are flying past me, and I'm like, "Where's the fire?" And it was only later when I was coming back that I realized, because I was like running on the bike one, and that's all there is on this side of the river. Like it's just exclusively bikes,
and nobody yelled at you. I'm kind of surprised.
I was.
I'm surprised too, because those bikers will yell at you if you're jogging on their side.
I had my headphones in. I was listening to telekinesis on my jog, so I don't know. Maybe they were yelling at me, but I was blissfully unaware because I didn't realize how much I was in violation of the rules. Then I crossed over to the other side, where there's that little, when basically everything goes to the other side of the river. But between the murals and the artwork and just the river itself and just being around the sights and smells of Denver, I mean, that was just so cool.
Yeah, that is a cool trail. I do like going on that one. You have to, and I know I told you this yesterday.
Wash Park, right? Wash Park.
You've got to, yeah. And don't run on the inside trail that's paved. Run on the outside of the edge of the park where it's like gravel. It's amazing.
Okay.
I love it.
All right, Wash Park. I'm doing that tomorrow.
So, awesome. I look forward to hearing about it. I'm probably the one person that's here for your running content. I love here, especially when you're doing it in my backyard. I love it. So what I'm calling.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
No. What would you like to tell us or say? And
I'm calling in slightly depressed. I mean, after going 2 years and 3+ months or whatever, never getting COVID.
Oh no.
Yeah, this morning I woke up.
Craig.
Yeah, you guys are in my hometown. The one time I was going to be able to come and see you by just driving 20 minutes, and I test positive.
Oh, buddy. I'm sorry.
Where do you think you got it?
God only knows. I've been trying to be pretty careful, so like I'm not going and hanging out in tons of groups of people. But who knows? I could have gone to the grocery store, and I mean, you just don't know these days, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry. How are you feeling? I mean, other than being bummed about not getting to the event, how are you just like feeling physically?
Physically, I feel fine. I mean, you can kind of hear in my voice, I've got that wonderful, baritone rasp that's lovely with the cough and stuff. But slightly tired. I have a bit of a cough. It feels like a bad cold. But that's about as bad as it gets. So hopefully it stays that way and I get over this quickly. But the timing couldn't be worse. I thought COVID had already taken enough from me, but now it takes away from me to see you guys. So
that sucks. I'm so sorry, man. That is like really bad timing.
Yeah.
Well, do you want us to set up a laptop there that you can like FaceTime or something? So we do like some kind of technological solve for this.
I was kind of torn because the Colorado Avalanche, who are like my favorite hockey team, and we do like hockey here, especially.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how many people had Avalanche jerseys on last night in the 2 locations that we were at. The cook at the restaurant we went to, the chef, I should say, had an Avs shirt. The bartenders, all these guys that were doing one of those weird punch machines where you like punch a boxing, like a heavy, not a heavy bag, but like what do you call the little one?
A punching bag?
Punching bag?
Yeah, I don't know.
They all had Avs jerseys on. Boy, this is a big thing out here.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, we love the NHL and hockey in general, especially when our team is 9 wins away from the cup. So
okay.
Go Avs.
Wow.
Yeah.
The only professional hockey game I've ever been to is an Avalanche game.
Oh, thanks.
And it was very
you guys
fun.
Got the Kraken now. I know you guys have talked about you don't have room for more sports and stuff, but you should give it a try. Just go to one game. Being there in person is like a totally different experience.
Absolutely. No, hockey is a very, very fun, very entertaining sport. I will concede that. Well, Craig, I am so sorry about the bad timing, but we'll be thinking about you on Friday night.
Well, I appreciate it. So I had to call in and say hi to you guys since I wasn't going to get to do it tomorrow. But I'm so glad you're in my town. Hope you love it. And it's good to talk to you.
Thanks,
you too,
man. All right, feel better, okay? I'll think of you tomorrow in Wash Park.
Yes. All right. Take care, Craig. Thank you. All right, Luke, it is now the time. Are we ready to blurs?
I was born with
There's a right way to rock and a wrong way to roll. You can just listen to your soul. Just remember that life is number one. You can be having so much fun. Just remember that life is much fun. You can be number one.
Everybody.
All right. Yeah,
I think we should make all the callers talk directly to the hamster. Is it a hamster or a gerbil?
I believe it's a hamster.
It is a hamster. Okay, and hamsters are the things that sold Kias, right? You reminded me of that yesterday.
John did actually, but
John,
that's
so what a coincidence.
They were like cool hamsters that like wore tracksuits and bumped.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, John. I turned on your mic. What's that?
Cool is very relative, I think.
Yes, but I mean, they were like as hamsters go. Pretty cool hamsters. I believe one had a necklace on, one had a chain on.
You know about my vampiric hamster, Tiny Tim, right? You remember this story?
Wait, you had a hamster that drank human blood?
Or other hamsters' blood?
No, human.
What?
Tiny Tim, yeah. This story is best told with the Blur's Day music underneath it. Yeah. We had a Christmas celebration in which our family gifted ourselves, I guess, a hamster. I think that maybe it was a gift from my parents to my sister. Maybe officially it was my sister's hamster. I don't remember the details on that. And we named it, I guess they named it Tiny Tim. It was a small little hamster. We put it in a terrarium or whatever, as you would, a little hamster cage. And apparently, and I was not here for it, but apparently that night we went to bed, us kids, and then my mom went to play with the Tiny Tim hamster, and the hamster latched onto her finger and bit her hard, and she had to shake the hamster off of her. But wait for this. Yeah, so that kind of hurt, but it was,
Cover your ears. I'm covering the hamster's ears.
Wait, hold on. My mom's the victim, not the hamster, because listen to this. She shakes the hamster off her finger. Now there's blood on the side of the terrarium. The hamster, Tiny Tim, goes and deliberately licks all of the blood off the side of the terrarium. Vampiric, my friend.
That is menacing.
You owe my mom an apology. I'm sorry, Barbara.
So think about the idea of the hamster, of Tiny Tim with unbroken eye contact, just mean mugging your mom while licking her blood off of the. I thought that the story was going to be that she flung Tiny Tim to get him off, and that he, flew across the room and maybe met his end.
No, but he met his end with our family because we returned that thing like a Mazda Mirage, my friend.
I'll tell you what,
lying
he said
needed.
This hamster was smoking when he tried to ride.
Even worse.
I don't think there's. Here's a story I've never heard in my life. And the hamster passed away at the ripe old age of 9, having lived a good and untraumatic life. That is never how it ends for the hamsters. Like, everyone who ever had a hamster, it met some kind of untimely end.
Yep. Yeah, but
or gerbils for that matter.
We did replace Tiny Tim with another hamster, but I cannot remember that. I can't remember that hamster's name. I do remember also that after this event happened to my mom, a couple of days later, I am remembering somebody else's dream from about, I'm going to say 35 years ago, but I remember my mom then it traumatized her so much that she, a couple of nights later, had a dream in which she came down from the bedroom and came into the family room where we had a fireplace, and there was a giant hamster in the fireplace.
Wow.
I remember.
I understand. If I were bit by a hamster or a gerbil, it would haunt my nightscapes.
Yeah, it did
I always
indeed.
say this about small dogs too. Like, sometimes people, you have a small dog that kind of wants to come up and bite you or nip you, and sometimes the owners will be like, oh, they're just playing, or they're just they think that because it's a very small dog, you're not scared by that. But it's like, if that was a rat of that size and it was biting your leg, think about how absolutely traumatizing that would be.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so anyway, that's the traditional way that we start the Blur's Day segment. We're
Nice.
going to have some people wishing each other some happy Blur's Days here, including Virginia, who says, happiest Blur's Day to Holly. You make the world a better place.
Cute.
That's wonderful. Got one from Lisa here. Oh, sorry. Are you oh, okay. I don't think that worked. I don't think anybody has any idea what Lisa said.
Fine. Joey gets it. Lisa said, happy Blur's Day to my 11. Joey, who is the best, he humors me by listening to my TBTL references and actually listened to part of an episode once. He's on point for 11ness in his patience about my 10 friends and my retelling of hot dog stories. I really think it's just a matter of time before he converts. Andrew, I think that bit of radio magic I just created is going to be what tips him over. Happy Blur's Day, Joey.
Happy Blur's Day, Joey. Hey, Donna in Baltimore says, happy Blur's Day to the best friend and neighbor a girl can get, Laura from Baltimore. Here's to many more stoop wines, garbage/recycling can anxieties, fire pit fires, toddler shenanigans, and all the adventures in between. I feel like I could write a hot dog story about what an awesome friendo Laura is, but I will spare the other 10s. Power out.
Happy Blurs, Laura.
Indeed.
Is this our dear friend, Katie Beck?
Indeed it is.
Aw, hi, Katie. How are you? Happy belated Blur's Day to Liz, my friend since 3rd grade. A loyal 10, and now also neighbor Liz.
We hung out with Liz a
brother
few
Liz.
weeks ago.
Right. Thank you for being a generous, considerate, compassionate friend to me and so many others who are lucky to have you in their lives. I'm sorry I took your purse. Oh,
this is Liz.
Well, all right, Katie, you know what?
We went on an adventure with Liz.
I was low-keying that, Katie, on your behalf, but okay, now it's out there. Katie left the Eagles accidentally with Liz's purse.
And jacket and shoes.
And keys, everything that was in the purse. And it was a bit of an adventure that night tracking that down, but we did track it down, so that was good.
I can't remember. Was alcohol involved?
Nope. That was the surprising part.
Yeah,
I'm sorry I took your purse and sent you on the Great Caper the other weekend. Love, Katie and Poppy.
And Poppy.
Aw,
Happy Blur's Day, Liz.
Yeah, happy Blur's.
See you when we get back. Douglas says, if my birthday is the same day as the TBTL Zoom, does that make it a zirconium Blur's Day?
Yes, it absolutely does.
As Douglas says here, it's my birthday today.
A zirconium Blur's Day.
Exactly.
I love that. That's a whole new category.
And I almost pronounced it, yeah.
April and Edmonds, happy Blur's Day to my 5, Zoe, who is turning 11. Aww. That's
nice.
Very cool to be 11, Zoe. You're a creative, smart, funny 5th grader, and I couldn't be more proud to be your mom. And also to me. We have back-to-back Blur's Days, and as a single mom, sometimes you got to send in your own Blur's Day message. I feel you on that, April.
Amen. Well,
Zoe, don't sleep on getting your mom. Even if you just get your mom, like the thing I used to do when I was a kid, which is you cut up a bunch of scraps of paper that say like, I'll sweep the kitchen floor, free back rub, and you put it all in a jar, and then you pray to God that your parents lose it or never redeem any of these like little free things. But, you know, make sure, Zoe, if you're hearing this, you do something nice for your mom.
Yeah, I mean, happy Blur's Day to both of you, April and Zoe. And Zoe, so you're 11 now. Next year, you'll be 12. That's how this works. And I want to say something directly to you, Zoe. Next year, I want you to email me, andrew@tbtl.net, and write a little message that says, Happy Blur's Day to Lawn Chair Larry.
And I want to say something to you, Zoe, as well.
I'm an uncle. Sarah in Woodinville says, I want to wish my daughter Kylie a happy 17th Blur's Day. She continues to be an amazing person, a great artist, and a good friend to all. I'm so proud of her. That's from Sarah to Kylie. Happy Blur's Day, Kylie.
Meryl says, I just wanted to wish myself a happy Golden Blur's Day on my actual Blur's Day. Looking forward to an extended celebration over the Memorial Day weekend.
I love that.
I love it, Meryl. Yes, Queen. That's this new phrase that I'm trying to start.
That's cool.
Memorial Day weekend with mountain biking and kayaking on the Nisqually River. As I think back over the years of TBTL, making dinner in Olympia while listening to the Prezine show on my to my phone throwing, you've brought a great viewpoint to my life, and I so appreciate the many hours spent with my friendos. Well, Meryl, we appreciate you. Have a very lovely Memorial Day weekend.
That's awesome. Happy Blur's Day,
Just don't try to rent a car from Enterprise because it turns out they're very...
Yeah, they're down one.
Yeah. You're going to have a hard time. Although, you know what's kind of funny, Andrew, was as we left the kind of rental car area in the Kia Soul, the car in front of us leaving, checking out, was a Mitsubishi Mirage.
It absolutely was.
It was a gray Mitsubishi Mirage.
Good looking car, man. I was a little jealous.
You also mentioned at one point, you're like, wouldn't it be ironic if they just brought us another one of these?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
forgot.
that actually seemed like a very real possibility.
Sure, yeah. I mean, they have a fleet of them, and they said, okay.
We're bringing one in. We're saying it's got problems.
Right,
They're like, well, here's one we know doesn't have problems.
Exactly.
I mean, that would have been, honestly, that would have been karma.
What would you have done?
I would have been just like, this is your car now, Andrew. I mean, I would not have I didn't have a backup plan for that.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be, me caught very clearly in some kind of fabrication.
I am excited for the ride home. I had I don't want to overplay it. As you know, I had kind of a lot of anxiety coming out here just due to, a week's worth of activities and whether or not I brought all the right equipment and just a million things. And actually talking to Craig earlier today and the fact that he caught COVID, I was just so happy when I was recollecting yesterday that we're halfway through our TB Telethon. And that was another big concern I had. What if one of us, contracted COVID or something? And it looks like, knock on wood, but we're so far so good. But, like little by little, these anxieties have sort of washed away because they proved unnecessary, right? But I was kind of anxious about driving that Kia back. Not the Kia, I'm sorry, the Mirage back. Yeah. And so I was prepared to do it. I wouldn't have tried to make the swap out if I wasn't here with you. But I got to say, I am looking forward to drive. I mean, you have increased quite a bit the amount that I'm looking forward to driving
Good.
home. So
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Of course. I'm glad.
I lost my words at the end, man.
Well, you know what? You made it to the finish line. We coasted in on fumes. Now Andy can nap time again.
Can he? I think we have stuff to do.
Not for like 7 hours. Oh, speaking of which, we are going to be hosting the final round of TBTL Game Night tonight. It's West Coast edition, 7 p.m. West Coast. And John, you said we're almost hitting the capacity for this thing, right?
It's really filling up for sure. So if you want to join, go to tbtl.net, click the join us button, and then it'll take you to a page with the registration link. Do it now.
Yeah.
And if I can just say one more thing here too, it is the TB Telethon. Thank you to everybody who has donated so far. If you are considering it and haven't yet, please do it now. Time is of the essence. And also, and I hope it's okay to say this, like John's here in Denver with us, and it's been great. And he's on the show. He sounds like a very pleasant man. I'm sure you guys all pick up on that. But let me tell you this. He's not. He's not a pleasant man. This is a character that he plays when his mic is open and when the mic is
Do you remember
son of a bee?
Do you remember Do you remember the Alec Baldwin character from Glengarry? This
That's
is
right.
a callback to ABC. Yeah. Mitch and Murray sent him down here to basically set us straight.
That's right.
Do you know what kind of car John drove here to Denver? A Mercedes. So
That's
anyway,
right.
but
I don't drive Mirages.
Right, exactly.
That's right.
But really and truly, thank you so much for the support this week. And we can, if you're planning on doing it, don't delay joy. Go ahead and jump on tbtl.net and make that donation and help us keep doing this for yet another year. So
thank you.
That's going to do it for today's show. We'll see a bunch of you on Zoom tonight, and the rest of you we will see tomorrow for another edition of this Imaginary Radio. We will be live streaming tomorrow's show, again, 9 a.m. West Coast, noon East Coast. So we'll see you then. In the meantime, thanks so much again. We love you. We really appreciate you. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Stay safe, take care of each other, and please remember, no mountain too tall.
And good luck to all.
Something to this month's sales contest. As you all know, first prize is a Cadillac Eldorado. Anybody want to see second prize? Second prize is a set of steak knives. Third prize is you're fired. You get the picture? You laughing now? You got leads. You can't close the leads you're given. You can't close shit. You are shit. Hit the bricks, pal, and beat it, because you are going out. I've been in this business 15 years.
What's your name?
You. That's my name. You know why, mister? Because you drove a Hyundai to get here tonight. I drove an $80,000 BMW. That's my name.
Power out.